Hello everyone, welcome to Enlightened Study Point. আজি আমি ক্লাছ 9 ছ'চিয়েল ছায়েন্সৰ জিঅ'গ্ৰাফী পাৰ্টৰ চেপ্টাৰ 2 এটমস্ফিয়াৰ ষ্ট্ৰাকচাৰ এয়াৰ প্ৰেছাৰ এণ্ড উইণ্ড ছিষ্টেম সেই চেপ্টাৰৰ কুৱেশ্যন নম্বৰ 20-23লৈকে লৈ আনিছোঁ। তো ভিডিঅ'টো ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰাৰ আগতে মই সকলোকে ক'ব বিচাৰিছোঁ যে মোৰ চেনেলটো ছাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰি দিব। তো কুৱেশ্যন নম্বৰ 20, হোৱাট ডু ইউ মিন বাই ফ্ৰণ্ট, হাউ ইট ইজ ফৰ্ম, briefly discuss the relationship between climate and front. When two different air masses with sharp contrast in temperature, humidity, pressure, density, etc. come closer from opposite direction, they do not mix readily and form an air surface discontinuity on line of discontinuity between them. This is called front. The formation of front need two special conditions of two air mass between two air masses. One air mass should be heavier and colder. 2 number, air mass should be convergent so that the air mass from opposite direction should be able to move closer to each other. The pressure gradient take a reverse direction in the frontal region. As a result of it, air eliminates from them. There, the progress of a front bring about changes in air temperature and humidity and result in the formation of cloud in the frontal region. As a result of the meeting of two characteristically constructing air masses and comparatively warm lighter air come over the cold heavier air maintains a state of equilibrium. Air shift occurs in the frontal region due to reversal of the direction of air gradient. Moreover, a front brings about changes in air temperature and humidity and results in the formation of cloud in the frontal region. 21. What do you mean by monsoon wind? How is it formed? In which area of the earth its impact is quite distinct? The wind that blow periodically depending on the change in the season is called monsoon wind. The word monsoon is said to have been derived from the Arabic word mosim and Malayan word monsoon. Basically, monsoon is a kind of surface wind whose direction of movement in summer is completely opposite of winter. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes the wind to flow from the ocean towards the land, which gives rise to monsoon wind. It absorbs certain amount of moisture, bringing rain to the lands over which it blown in its later journey. That is why coastal region of Tamil and get winter rain from northeast monsoon winds that come from the Bay of Bengal. The main areas of monsoon wind are South Asia, Africa, Southeast and Southwest coastal of the USA, Gulf region of Mexico, Northeast Australia, etc. However, the greatest impact of monsoon is seen in Asia, particularly in South Asia and Southeast Asia. Question 22. Write with reason. Why do all weather phenomena occurs mainly in troposphere? The troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere. The temperature, pressure and density gradually get low as there is increase in the altitude. The temperature decrease with the ascent of 6.5 degree Celsius per kilometer. Thus, for all these reasons, all weather phenomena like cloud, rain, storm, etc. take place in the troposphere. B. What would be the consequence of the increase in the amount of carbon dioxide? The carbon dioxide can absorb the heat from the atmosphere. The solar radiation is reflected by the carbon dioxide and creates an atmosphere for the survival of the plants and animals on the earth. Plants also use carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. The use of fossil fuel like coal, petroleum, etc. deforestation have increased the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The increase in the carbon dioxide causes rise in the temperature of atmosphere and causing global warming. C. What is the reason behind the prevalence of high pressure of dry air than moist air. The dry air in the atmosphere has less air pressure than the moist air. Gases like nitrogen, oxygen exist more in the dry area and creates high air pressure. The moist air on the other hand has more water vapor and lower the weight of the air. The high pressure containing moist air always move upward in the atmosphere and the lower pressure warm air stays in one level. How does the ozone layer help the living being? Ozone is a gas in the atmosphere that protects everything living on the earth from harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. Without the atmosphere, ozone living organism could not exist. Ozone layer present in the stratosphere at an altitude of about 40 to 50 km in a very useful layer for the living world. The ozone molecules present in the ozone layer have the ability to absorb the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. E. Why is the air pressure highest at the sea level? The density of the air is mostly found near the surface of the ocean and the sea due to gravitational force of the earth. The more the air is dense, the more pressure it exerts. Thus the air pressure is highest at the sea level. What is the reason behind variation in vertical extent of the troposphere in the polar region and equatorial region? The reason behind variation in vertical extent of the troposphere in the polar region and equatorial region is that the maximum vertical height of troposphere in the equatorial region is about 16 km, which it is 10 km in the polar region because of its inclined position of the earth towards the pole. G. Why is horizontal movement of wind parallel to the Earth's surface not felt in the equatorial low pressure belt? The sun ray fell vertically on the equatorial region, causing a low pressure belt. The excessive heat caused the air to move upward in the vertical manner, which is why an horizontal movement of wind is not felt in the equatorial low pressure belt. Question number 23. Give short answer to the following question. A. What is the vertical extent of the atmosphere? 10,000 km approximately. Up to what altitude from the Earth's surface does chemical composition of gas remain almost same? Up to 80 km altitude from the Earth's surface does chemical composition of gas. C number. What is the name of the boundary line between homosphere and heterosphere? Menopause. D hole. What is Farrell's law? The force which is caused by the earth rotation is deflect the wind towards the right direction in clockwise manner in northern hemisphere and towards left in the anti-clockwise manner in the southern hemisphere. This is known as Farrell's law. E. What is Beaufort scale? Write briefly about the utility of this scale with example. In order to measure the velocity of wind, a British scientist Sir Francis Beaufort developed a 0 to 12 number scale of wind velocity in 1805. This instrument could measure and understand the nature and impact of different types of wind. This is known as Beaufort scale. Utility. This scale helps to understand the nature of the wind and its impact of different types of wind. For example, the wind velocity of 1 nautical mile per hour, that is 1.854 km per hour on 30.9 meter per minute. Question number F. Write in brief about lapse rate. The temperature in the lower part of the troposphere is more and it slowly decreases with increase in height. This decrease in the air temperature takes place at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer ascent. This is called lapse rate. তো এইকেইটা কুৱেশ্যন আছিলে নেক্সট ভিডিঅ'ত আমি বেলেগ কুৱেশ্যনছবোৰ লৈ আনিম ধন্যবাদ